Welcome everyone to the Model Frontier. Today we've got another special for you in our series on building the Agora Models RMS Titanic. So if you're new to the channel, make sure to smash that subscribe button and ring that notification bell. That way you don't miss a second of any of my great content. So, A Night to Remember by Walter Lord. It's a great book about the Titanic. And there have been many books and movies and things written about the Titanic. They're all great. There's so many great resources out there. And that's what I'm talking to you about tonight. The resources that we're using to build this model. I'm using a variety of different resources on the building of this model. The thing with resources, the things with books like this is a lot of books focus on the actual sinking of the Titanic. There's no doubt about it, that is such a compelling story. There's the people, the events, the timing, everything. It creates a compelling story that has fascinated people ever since the ship sank in 1912. But when you're building a model, you don't necessarily need to know between what two funnels did the ship break in half. You don't need to know at what time, a door opened up or something like that. So for that, you need to get more into the building of the ship, the construction of the actual ship. You need to see deck plans, blueprints. You need to see pictures of the ship before the disaster. Now, I can't even begin to cover just how many resources there are out there. If I did, this video would be, 6 hours long and we still wouldn't cover everything. So what I'm going to do tonight is show you a variety of resources that I've been using to help me get this build look so good. We've got a few sections we're going to separate this into. We're going to be looking at some books, a few websites, some software, and also some other YouTube sites that come in handy for this. I'm going to include all links. I'm going to go over all these. I'm going to include links to all of these resources in the description below. And I'm going to try to put them in pop-up cards somewhere up here so that you can just go through them as you want. And I'm going to go over them, show them to you, give you a little information about it, explain how I've been using it. And that way, you can decide if any of these resources will work for you in your build. So without further ado, let's go back to Titanic. So we're going to kick things off with some books about the Titanic model, and this one you've seen me use in the past. It's called RMS Titanic, A Model Maker's Guide by Peter Davies Garner. Mr. Garner just made a model of the Titanic all on his own. He's got some good pictures here. It's a scratch-made model he did. So some of the things he's done might be a little different, but you can see pictures of him building the model. He goes into all sorts of details about the propellers, the display base, shell plating and rudder. Talks about everything he did. There's some information about the nameplate up there. The deck details. It's all separated into different sections. So like if you're looking for information for your well decks, we got an entire chapter of it right here. And it talks about all the different deck panels and everything. One of the best parts about this are the color pictures they show here, which will give you quite an idea as to different things on the model that we're looking to achieve. Now again, his model is much bigger than what we're going to have, so he's able to get a lot more details in than we'll actually be able to see. But if you just want to see what some of these things look like, You're really not going to go wrong with this. So it's a very good resource. I mean, you can pick it up on Amazon for $21 for the book, or you can get it on Kindle for $18. I like the physical book better just because I can actually bring it up really close, see stuff that I'm looking for, and really dive down deep into the minutia of building a model of the Titanic. It's definitely one that I recommend you picking up. This next book is a beast of a book. As you can clearly see, it is called Titanic, the Ship Magnificent. Now, anyone in the model building community and in the know, everyone knows about this bad boy right here. It's actually, if you look at it, kind of hard to show you, but it's actually 2 books in one slipcase. So with book 1, we get information about the construction and design of the ship. Lots of pictures, lots of different plans, structural things. It talks about the framing, the beams, the pillars. I mean, we get information on the shell plating, and this is going to be a very valuable resource. You can see we got a picture of the shell plating along the bottom of the ship, so that'll be a useful tool for later. We got things about the expansion joints and the deck houses, skylights, bulwarks, railings, awnings, funnels. It talks about absolutely everything that goes into the physical creation of the ship. So basically this book deals more with all the mechanical and, you know, the actual things that are operational of the ship. So this is more about the mechanics and the things like the venting and the ventilation. This is a little thing about the davits and how they work. Anchors, you know, things like that. Basically the non-passenger specific things, but the things that the ship would need to work. Granted, there's not going to be a lot in this that, you know, we will use, but there are going to be some things that will come in handy to look at. Lots of pictures to show how things were set up. You know, this shows stuff about the Marconi apparatus. And good thing about this is everything is set up in a nice order, so all you have to do is really look up in the upper corner to see what you're looking at. Or, I mean, of course, you can go right to the table of contents and it'll have everything you're looking for. So if you're looking for something specific, you could definitely pull this up and just flip to it for whatever section of the ship you're working on. Volume 2, however, is going to be of much more use to us. This talks about the interior designs of the ship, fitting out. This goes into more of the minutia, the passenger details. These are the things that make it bring it from a functional ship to, as it's called here, a palatial hotel. That talks about everything from different things of the interior design of the ship, furnishings, joinery, deck curvature, ladders, doors, the culinary commissary, service of plate, sanitary appliances. Where this book really shines is when it starts going deck by deck and giving you these kinds of plans showing you where everything goes. And then it zooms in on certain areas, so like this will show you the navigational bridge and really talk about that with lots of pictures. You get to see the wheelhouse that they talk about here. Deck plans for the officers' quarters, where it lists every officer's quarters, the captain's area, you know, all the different officers. This is a really valuable tool, especially if you're going to be doing interiors, because this will show us you know, some things like what the staterooms may have looked like. Here's a thing showing the layout of everything in the gymnasium. And like I said, it goes deck by deck. So when we're working on a certain deck, like if we're working on the promenade deck on A deck, we'll use this book to go through just about everything you could think of in graphic detail. Like right here, we'll have a close-up of the reading and writing room. So if we go to put furniture into this, we can see how the furniture is laid out and really make it match what the reading and writing room looked like on the Titanic. You got the B deck, which was like one of the main passenger decks. And I mean, this shows like the private promenades and how they were set up and talks about that. You get lots of pictures showing what these different rooms looked like. So you can use these to design the interior of your ship to make it look just right. Honestly, this book is the one. This one is probably the one of both of these books that you're likely going to use the most. That's not saying the other book is bad, but it's likely going to be this one that we're going to use the most for this particular build, just to get the interior details right. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room regarding this book, and that's the price. This book is not cheap by any measure of the word. These 2 volumes will run you well over $100. It's got a list price of $215, but sometimes you check Amazon, you get lucky, you can find it on sale. As of the time of this video, it's listed at around $150. But that can always change. I managed to get mine on sale and get it at a good price. You can buy each of the books separately, so if you don't think you're going to need book 1 for anything, save yourself a few bucks and buy book 2. The link in the description below will take you to the site with the most current price. Or just wait a little more in the video and I'll show you a cheaper way to get some of the interior details, but not the nice pictures that these books have. Now, there's also this Titanic Historical Society trivia game. This is where I've been getting my questions you may have been seeing for Titanic trivia. It's basically sort of the same as Trivial Pursuit. I'll be honest, I've never really played the game, so I'm not 100% sure how it's played, but it does come with a bunch of these cards. As you can see, it says it has 1,000 questions about the Titanic. And, you know, it covers just all sorts of different things. I mean, we can look at one of the cards here and you can see that it goes from a novice question all the way up to someone who really has studied the Titanic. If you can find it, it might be fun for you. But like I say, for Titanic trivia, this is giving so much gold, and I hope it continues to do so as we go forward in the build. So our first website that we're going to take a look at here is called Titanic CAD Plans, which, as you can see, is labeled as the Ship Modeler's Resource. And boy, what a resource this thing is. I mean, it is just a wealth of information about anything you could think of regarding details of the Titanic. So this is definitely a useful tool for everything. I mean, I used it for figuring out which of the nameplates to use on the Titanic's hull. This gives an entire article showing pictures of the nameplates, showing how it's applied, and this led me to the conclusion that the letters to use were the italicized ones on the decal sheet, not the straight up and down ones. And it explains why, talking about that they were tilted forward to compensate for the rise and shear, and if they weren't, the letters would all appear to tilt to the back. which if you look at the hull that I've got, that's how it appears. Another thing this resource guide helped me with was to understand about the water tank behind the first funnel, which is a piece that I got on my upgrade kit and I never knew what it was. I'd never seen it before, never knew anything about it. And then here's an entire article talking about the water tank, where it sits, showing you the different angles of it, and even showing you exactly how it goes onto the deck. So when we put it on our decking, we can make it look right. So with this much detail into this thing, it's really impressive to go into all this. And this also teaches you a lot about the Titanic that maybe you didn't know before. The biggest help that the CAD plans offer, though, is in right here, the color guide. And they do make several assumptions, but it's this guide that gave me the impetus to decide what color to make the anti-fouling red. It not only shows you the color here, but it also gives you an explanation, in this case, by showing you a picture of the propeller as it sits underwater, where you can still see the anti-fouling red in place. Another thing it shows is why I used straight red on this part of the hull, on this anchor hole, versus the anti-fouling red on the bottom of the ship. It definitely goes into all the pictures, covering the steam winches, water hydrants, everything. And it shows you how the propellers looked, and the telegraphs, everything. And you know what, since, you know, you could do it, they talk about difference in the colors of the Britannic, and they even show you the dazzle pattern for her sister ship, the Olympic, during World War I. So, I mean, if you're feeling adventurous, or you just got the money and you want to turn this Titanic into a dazzled Olympic, there's your color scheme for it. So Titanic CAD Plans, a valuable resource, and one I highly recommend you bookmark so that you can use it for all your modeling needs. So next we're going to take a look at the ArtStation website for Vasilij Ristovich. And I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that name. Please, if it drives you nuts, somebody give me how to pronounce his name in the comments, and I will make sure to correct myself from here on out. Since we've already done a lot on the forecastle, we're just going to take a look at this, but he does a lot of different views of the ship, and you can see here the level of detail he gets in his. It's incredible what he's able to show off. I mean, these pictures really make it look like he went back in time with a high-definition video camera and got all these details. Like, you could see all the details on the piping we did on our bulkhead, the staircase, the colors, the different steps to get up to the doors. I mean, I really can't praise the level of detail enough. You can see the detail work on the winches on the deck. I mean, right there's a lot of detail there for that winch. There's the cargo hatch cover, the anchor chains. I mean, all these details that he puts into his pictures, you can't go wrong on any of this. And if you're looking for full color detail work to get ideas for what you want your ship to look like, definitely bookmark this page, because you'll just be blown away and staring at these pictures for hours. Now this next website we're going to take a look at, I'm not going to lie, this one's going to cost you a little bit of money because we're downloading the deck plans for the Titanic. What's great about this is it goes into high detail on the interiors of the ship, deck by deck. And you can look here and see, if you're looking at the smoking room, you'll see table placement, where the furniture goes, everything you'd want to do to get the interior of your model to look just as good as the exterior. These plans aren't free. It costs about $5 British pounds, or which is a little over $6 in the United States currently. And these are the same plans that you would get in the Titanic: The Ship Magnificent book, but spending $6 over whatever the cost of that giant book set is. I mean, if your only goal is to get the plans, that's definitely worth the savings. So this is the Titanic Honor and Glory Mega Demo, and it's called Demo 401, obviously because Titanic's registry number was 401. The thing that this really does well is it basically lets you explore a lot of the Titanic. You choose where you want to start, what time of day you want to go, and then it loads the ship in. And you, like here, we're starting at the D-deck reception area, and we can just kind of look around the ship, and we can explore things. So we can see things like, what does the carpeting look like on the reception deck? Here's the tables here. If we go further back, we can open up these doors and go into the dining area and see how the tables look. There's the piano over there and everything. It's made in Unreal Engine 5, so it's got your standard type of controls. You know, if you're a computer gamer, you know how the controls work. We can walk up the grand staircase. Let's go check out B deck. See, we can go into one of the parlor suite rooms here. Now, the parlor suite rooms were the ones that had the private promenade decks. So, when we get to the promenades, we can actually see what they were like. And we can actually use them to build up our ship. Now, again, this is a work in progress, and you know, it does have some trouble with loading in the assets, some slowdowns as I'm trying to record footage while also, you know, showing you the game. But this is definitely a valuable resource. It's one I've been using to kind of give you the different backgrounds that I've been on while we've been filming. So when we get to the grand staircase, I'm likely going to go ahead and do this kind of background for the grand staircase. It's a free demo for now, but the full game will cost something. I'm not sure what it is yet. As soon as I find out, I'll let you know. But yeah, you can definitely check out this demo and support the team that's making it. Again, link in the description below. They're doing a great job making this ship look magnificent, and I can't really praise them enough for the skill they're showing with this. So give them a look, and you know, just at some point when you're free time, take a walk along the deck and just see how things look. Now, this next program is a little bit older. Getting it to work on a modern system can be a little tricky. It's James Cameron's Titanic Explorer. The original software was 3 volumes. It's first and foremost, it is a slideshow showing different aspects of talking about different aspects of the history of the Titanic. It's an interesting watch, and it does show some deleted scenes from the movie that you may or may not have seen yourself, so that's definitely something good to look at. But one thing that this definitely excels at is it's kind of like Titanic Honor and Glory in that it shows you the plans of the ship, but it also allows you to actually semi-tour the Titanic. And this will let us, this is obviously based on James Cameron's set, and it's basically your point and click things. So, but what it'll help us to do is go around to different areas on the ship that we don't get to see yet in the demo. So it'll give us a chance to actually go onto the bridge here and look and see how the bridge looks. We can explore how the ceiling was. We can go, like if we go click here, we can go inside the wheelhouse and we can actually see the ship's wheel and, you know, how the ceiling looked, what furniture was in this, all this information on the back wall. On modern, I've blown it up here, but on modern computers it will look just like this, so you'll have to get used to that. But as a tool, I honestly don't feel like it's going to be as valuable as Titanic Honor and Glory, but as I always say, we can never have too many. We can't have too many of these options, so definitely worth giving it a check. Now the first YouTuber we're going to take a look at for fans of my channel, he really needs no introduction. This is World of Wayne. This guy has been amazing. He's the one that got me into doing part work models in the first place, and his videos were the inspiration for me to actually include these on my channel. He's even helped me very personally a couple of times, as far as, like you saw last video where I wasn't able to record footage for one section. He's let me use his videos so I can complete mine. Really a great guy. He's shown me a lot of techniques. A lot of the equipment I've gotten has been because of his use of it. And, you know, he's really shows off a lot of the models that you might consider doing. I mean, if you're looking at different Partworks models, you definitely want to take a look at his channel just to see if it's something you think your skills can handle. I mean, because he does them all, and he goes through them all in great detail. I mean, here's his playlist for the Titanic, which, as I said before, he's doing it stock build, so he's not going to have the modifications like we're doing. But if you just want to see it done stock and maybe learn a few tips and tricks that might help you on this build, definitely check Wayne out. But I mean, check him out anyway, because, you know, these videos wouldn't be here without his videos leading the way for me. So definitely want to give him the recognition he deserves. Check him out, check out his other builds, and go nuts. The next YouTuber we're going to check out is the Model Boat Guy, and this guy is very good at what he does. Now he's doing the Trumpeter Titanic, and he's turning his into a radio controlled one, so some of the videos may not necessarily, you know, come into play, but there's the portholes that are, he talks about doing the portholes, and he talks about the rudder, and he talks about, you know, all kinds of things in here. Granted, some of his early videos are more about the mechanics of making the remote control part work, but eventually he does get into high levels of detail, talking about, you know, deck details, the forecastle, the aft well deck, which we haven't gotten to yet, and going into details on the interior of the ship. the different rooms, doing the a la carte restaurant here. You know, here's the Cafe Parisien and private promenades. Just the amount of detail that he provides on his builds is second to none. And some of these videos, you would swear the level of detail he gets in a 1/200 scale ship are just as good as James Cameron's big model of the Titanic. So this is just a great resource all around. I highly recommend checking his videos out, and trust me, you will not be disappointed seeing all the detail that we are going to try to get into our build as well. So the last YouTubers I want to take a look at here are the Midwest Model Shop. Now, these guys are similar to Model Boat Guy, only they're a little different. One thing is they're actually a shop that sells stuff that you might want to use on your build. So, I mean, this is something that might cost you a little bit of money. But like Model Boat Guy, they are doing the Trumpeter Titanic. I mean, they also have other models you could check out too, but we're mostly focusing on the Trumpeter Titanic. And just like Model Boat Guy, they go into specific details in each of their videos. Here they compare the different winches and different upgrade kits for that. This is one talking all about the rivets, how to install the wooden decks, reviewing 3D printed parts. I mean, this is another great resource, and as I said at the beginning, you know, you can never have too many resources for doing a model like this. So, you know, watch their videos for tips and tricks on how to do things like installing the captain rails and doing benches and things of that nature. This is really going to be a useful tool, and it's definitely one you should check out and have in your inventory. So there you go. I've given you a selection of resources that I've been using on my build. Now, I know you've got to be asking yourselves, am I crazy? Why would I send you to other places and tell you to buy other things? Shouldn't you be happy with my videos? Well, for that, as I said a couple of times, when it comes to doing something like this, you can never have enough resources. Just one person's video is never going to be enough to cover everything you could possibly do on this ship. There's just so much to it, and there's so much that you can, there's so many directions you could take this with. It's worth having access to your own things, your own guides, your own tools, so that you can get this ship to look how you want it to. These resources are meant mainly to just supplement my videos, not to serve as a replacement. And the other YouTubers that I give credit to, they definitely deserve to be referenced, because without them, I wouldn't feel confident enough to be, you know, modifying my build, which means I wouldn't be making these videos for you people. Pack 7 for the ship is on its way. It should be up soon. It should be done and up soon. Again, that's another one where I don't think we're going to do a lot of modifying, because it's still more work in the engine room, so we're not going to be doing a lot of modification in there. I still also have 2 videos for the Enterprise build to finish up, so look forward to those as well. Meanwhile, I hope this video helps you in your model, and I will see you next time on the Model Frontier.